Dwayne!
Stacy!
What's up?
It's Christmas 2025.
It is! Holy shitballs. I can't believe we made it.
I know, me neither.
It's incredible. Well, I can't wait to share all of this fun shiz with everybody. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what we're doing?
Well, I'm not quite sure what the hell we're doing. You came up with all this crap, and I'm just going along for the ride as usual because I ain't got time to be thinking about shit. I just got to do it in the moment, and I trust my spirit guides and the universe to give me the right answers.
You know, I'm going to portray Dwayne as the devil with all these horns coming out of his head. And, you know, Stacy's going to have the angel wings behind her.
Something physical that you can do to help yourself, because what you need is grounding, especially right now, is to just take your shoes off and walk outside for a little while and ground yourself with the earth.
Yeah, let it go, just let it go, let it flow. Like, yes, because with you having air and you said Libra and Gemini, you guys are like the zodiac of the thinkers, so you're probably thinking of a million things and trying to be, and then you got Virgo, like, oh, you really have it bad. I feel so sorry for you.
Well, luckily I have no need for money. I live on love.
Oh, aren't you lucky?
You know what? Well, the last time I went to a restaurant and tried to pay with love, I got kicked out.
I was gonna say I pay with love too, but love is the tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she will find out. She will know that you messed with her. She will find out exactly what you did and why, because she will know if you're lying or not. She will plot her revenge, and then she will execute that revenge.
But more in a more polite way, because I'm still soft and hard. You know, like
she'll be like, "Oh, bless your heart."
Oh, if kindness is the new currency, then our AI can be fucking kind to us. Like, it's
you're making sure the robots like you. You're like, in 10 years they're gonna.
You know
back.
what? She thinks she's slick, Dwayne. She's gonna be the protected queen of the cyborg.
I will be 100%.
Even if it's giving you days, like, I'm like, you have to like start doing what you need to do by now.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you gotta question me and ask me this, don't be mad at what I have to say, because I might, give you truth.
To the left.
I've been working with you for 2.5 years, and every excuse every week is Mercury retrograde.
Because we're always in one.
Yeah. The time to start saying, I want this, I want that. And not even to say I want. I keep forgetting to tell people.
I am, I have.
I am. Thank you for gratitude for already having what it is that you desire.
And thank you, universe, bring me more.
Oh,
Wayne,
wow.
I'm so excited to do this.
God. We are so funny. Looking at that opener is so funny. Look at all the shows we've done. It's crazy.
I know. I looked back on this, and I think this is year 4 that we have been doing this collab. So I'm just so grateful to you for it. It's so freaking fun.
I know it's year 4.
Yeah, I think it's year 4, if you can believe that. Like, I didn't even know that we've known each other that long, because, I suck at time. So I'm like, okay, whatever. We've known each other forever. So.
And we've never met in person. Isn't that funny?
No, I know. The first time that I met Keone in person, and at the time, we don't now, but at the time we only lived I think it was 9 minutes from one another. We had never actually gone and seen each other in person. And the first time that it happened, I was like, oh, there you are.
Oh my God, this is so funny.
Weird. So welcome to all of our viewers. Welcome back to those who have been avid followers of us, and anybody who is new, welcome. You're in for a wild ride. I'm Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and my cohort, Dwayne from In the Stars. You guys are in for a treat today. So Keone had reached out to us. He's our producer. And he had reached out to us, and he was like, it's the Christmas holidays. We got to get together. We got to do this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, okay. And I'm the Virgo with everything scheduled, and it's blocked off. And I know what my days are. And for whatever reason, it's not even Mercury retrograde. Something went wonky with my schedule. And I ended up getting clients booking throughout the time when we were supposed to do this during the holiday season. So I reached out to him and I was like, oh my God, can we do it a little bit later? Because otherwise I'm going to have to reschedule like 5 people in order to kind of get this done. He was like, yeah, sure. And then, trying to schedule for 3 people, it was insanity, and time zones and all the rest of it. So I had this little, inspiration, and I reached out to Keone and Dwayne and I said, how about we switch things up since it's the end of the year? Let's do a tarot face-off, because people don't know, Dwayne, because you're always about the astrology here, because I do the tarot, but you're a tarot master too. And so I thought it would be kind of fun for you to kind of, stretch your tarot master wings. And let's do like a fun little tarot face off, and we can do a review of the shit show that 2025 has been. And then we can do some fun predictive stuff on what's coming up for 2026. Are you game?
That sounds great.
Yay! Okay. So I was telling you just a little bit, but I was keeping you in suspense. So for all of the viewers, I have chosen a deck called the Mood Deck. This is a tarot deck by Natalie Meraki. This is so irreverent. Like, I'm just hoping that you guys aren't offended, because there's swearing and cursing.
Oh, fuck them. If they're offended, fuck them. Life's too short.
That's right. So I thought, you know what? Like, 2025 has been such a shit show that I really feel like it has been a mood. And so this is the deck that I'm going to use. What deck are you using today?
I'm using my giant, I forget what you call it, Chris, and the regular deck.
Yes, the Rider-Waite-Smith.
Yes, Rider-Waite. That's my giant one.
So I love the giant one.
You can really see. Well, not really.
There you go. Yep, we can see it. We can see it. Oh, I'm so excited. All right. So, guys, Dwayne is just following my lead. So, all craziness that happens, any mistakes that happen, it's me and it's not him.
There's no mistakes. And you know what? People love that crap. Most people want to watch and see a mistake. They don't want it all to be perfect.
That's so true. So I think everyone, you are in for such a treat today for the In the Stars with Dwayne and the Black Feather Intuitive, because who the fuck knows what's going to happen. All right. So, rules of the game. We've got several card prompts that we have to go through. And for each one, we have to say 3, 2, 1, and go. And we have to show our cards. So, for the sake of drama and making it like a game show, let's do that. All right. So it's 3, 2, 1 face off. 3, 2, 1 face off. Okay. So this is round 1. Round 1, we are focusing on 2025. What the fark just happened? So the first card prompt is, what lesson did 2025 scream at us repeatedly until we finally listened? Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, face off. Oh my God, we got the same freaking card.
Holy crap. That's crazy.
OMG. Okay, so you first.
Well, this is the 8 of Cups, and Cups is all about emotional, everything emotional, about feelings and what things mean to you. And then in this card, you can see that the subject is kind of facing away. This is kind of like a way of trying to run from your emotions, trying to get away from your emotions, but they always kind of come back and they keep building. So this card to me means the universe is saying, don't run from the emotions, accept them, allow them to be. You've got the sun and the moon, which usually means some type of some things may come to you in your dreams. Some things may come to you while you're walking around during the day. Believe those things that come into your head. And when it comes to your intuition, believe your intuition. Believe what you feel. Don't run away from anything emotional that happens. Accept it, go through it, and at the other side, you're going to feel a lot better, because if not, it's just going to keep building up anyway. So,
Right. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so mine says, fuck it.
exactly.
And I have to say, that's exactly what happened to us in 2025. Was it was like, okay, everything is coming crashing down. There's nothing left. We have to walk away from all that is the past, all that no longer serves us. And this is a card, like you said, the sun and the moon. I also always see the Eight of Cups as the eclipse card. An eclipse is a complete and utter reset. So this makes a lot of sense. This guy wearing his red shirt, he is walking to something else. And he's like, I don't give a flying fuck if this, Mount Everest that I'm walking towards and I'm not prepared, it's going to be better than what the fuck this was. So
right.
that is that we pulled the first card. We pulled the same freaking card.
That's
OMG.
so
All right, here we go. Question 2. What theme defined 2025, even though none of us consciously signed up for it? Ready?
All right, here we go.
3.
I'll put my hand behind it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Face off. Ooh, okay, you first.
All right, well, I got the 10 of wands, and this one just says, you didn't just say yes, you said, sure, I'll handle it one too many times. And now you're emotionally moving apartments without a dolly. You're overworked, you're overextended, still refusing to put anything down. Basically, you're exhausted, not because life is hard, but because you refuse to delegate, drop the guilt, or admit you're doing the absolute most. So the 10 of wands is the universe tapping you on the shoulder like, hey, you can set some of that down, right? And you responding, no, it's fine. I'm fine. This is fine. Okay. Burnout isn't a personality trait. Okay. Put one damn wand down.
Yes. Yes. It's like, you don't have to be the martyr.
Yeah.
No martyrdom here. I love it. So the theme that I got was the 4 of Swords, and here he's laying here, one sword down, nap time. And this card is all about a truce, taking a rest, getting out of your head, getting a little more into your heart space. And I got to tell you, this was the only way I got through this year, was taking a lot of fucking naps.
Yes.
Because for me, going to sleep is when we heal. But sleep is also, it can be an escape, right? You escape the craziness of the reality of what it is, or of what is just for a moment, so that you can kind of regroup, and then you wake up and okay, it's the same, it's still the same, but at least you're a little bit more recharged. When we talk about the theme of it, I think this is really funny, because this card also is often read by a lot of readers as another death card. And this year, being a 9-year, was all about the death. And my lesson in all of this was, be an observer. This is not a time for you to go in and try and, save the clock tower. Because the clock tower, save the clock tower! The clock tower is toast. It's already gone. This is not trying to save anything. This is standing back and observing the fall of what was. It's like the fall of the Roman Empire, and something new is going to be built in its place. And you need to, as a light worker, as a starseed, as a seeker, we need to have our energy. We need to store up our energy, because we're going to be kicking it into high gear here with building something new and creating something new. So, it's the soldier that is taking a bit of a rest. So, wow, I think that's really interesting. Okay. Card 3.
All right.
Which card best describes 2025's chaotic personality? Oh, this is a good one. All right. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, face off. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this is the 2 of Pentacles. And for those of you who may not know, the pentacle is the sign of earth as well as money, things coming to you, grounding, all of that. But this card is all about balancing those things, balancing your time, balancing money, emotions, responsibilities, vibes, calling it being flexible instead of quietly panicking, multitasking everything like it's some kind of circus act, smiling through the mild chaos, one dropped ball away from a dramatic, ugh, so
Yes.
translation is basically you're not indecisive, you're just trying to keep everything afloat without letting anyone know that you're winging it. So that's kind of where I believe that this whole year has been, and it's basically saying to you, pick a priority,
Yeah.
and you're like, but what if I simply, keep spinning? Because balance is impressive, but sustainability is better.
And this year, that's been a real challenge. People have been having a difficult time picking a priority because there's been so much coming at us.
Yeah.
I mean, every day it's 5 new things or 10 new
Right.
things. And it's not, one big thing and 4 little things. It's 5 big things. And it's
Right.
like, okay, like, where do we go from here? So,
Right.
wow, that's just fucking mind blown with that. So mine is the Chad of mind bullets. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It sure is. You want to
This-
clean your car, clean your house, everything in 1 hour?
That's the way to do it. Get shit done. So this is the Knight of Swords. And you know what? It's very fitting because this year, I've often been talking about this year for me as being a year of whiplash. I feel like I've been I was in a car accident years ago. A drunk driver hit us and I was in the passenger seat, and his car smashed into the the passenger side, smashed into me twice. So it was like I got hit, pulled away, hit again, and we were just spinning, and everything is like fast, impulsive. Yes, there's a certain level of control here, but the Knight of Swords also is like, I'm in for the fight. I don't need to know all the information about why we're fighting. I'm just here for the fight. So I'm loyal to you. I'm going to say yes to you, but it's not because I really believe in your cause. It's because I'm here for the fight. And I feel like that's kind of how it's been this year. The chaotic energy has been all right. Like, all of this is happening and we don't necessarily understand why everything is going down in the way it is. And it's happening in such a quick, slipshod fashion that nobody can fucking keep up. And that's how the Knight of Swords keeps control, because there's chaos. He's got the control. He knows where he's going and what he's doing, but the rest of the people that are affected have no idea. So yeah, wow. So Chad of mind bullets. That's what we got going on.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot, if you think about just the way things affect different people, like younger people are affected by things, but think of the older people who are 70, 80, 90, don't know how to use technology, and everything's being thrown at them, and they feel like they're in another universe. They don't feel like they're on the same planet anymore.
Look, I feel like I'm in an alternate universe. I can only imagine what people who are of a different generation, older generations are going through right now. I know my parents are, they have their heads buried in the sand most of the time. And, so it is what it is. But like, you send them a YouTube video to watch and they can't even figure out how to hit play on the screen to get the video to watch. I can't watch what you sent me. I don't understand what you sent me.
There is an exception. I say my uncle, who is 93, not only still drives and does everything, but he uses his iPhone. He takes pictures. He sends texts. He does everything. I can't believe it, but he's an anomaly.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Well, he's just like, I'm going to be around for a while, so I better get my shit together.
Yeah.
I better understand how the world's moving around me. All right. What did we think 2025 was going to be about versus what it actually turned into?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, face off. Oh, what's your card? There we go. Oh, you got the Fool.
Yep.
Cool. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, so the Fool is kind of like that main character syndrome, blissfully unprepared, backpack full of audacity, basically it's courage with with a blindfold on. The fool
Yeah.
is kind of like the universe whispering, like, trust the journey, and we all probably thought that at the beginning of this year. Oh, it's just going to work out, everything's going to kind of like fall into place. But really, your inner voice is responding. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I feel great about it.
Right.
So the message of this card is basically to leap boldly into whatever you're doing and just maybe check the cliff first. Just check it once, but
Maybe.
then, yeah, just maybe.
But
So,
if
and
you
we
forget it, that's okay. You'll figure it out as you're screaming, ah, on the way down.
Right, and look, January 2025, we wouldn't have ever known what was going to happen this year, even if we did look for hours on end. So we did all have to just go into it, and that's what we did.
Yeah. It's really about being present and dealing with what is in the now versus the predictability. Yeah. I predicted the tone and the energy of a lot of things, but the way that things turned out, there were things that it was like, are you kidding me? Like, I never would have thought that to come up. Yeah, I feel you. So this one feels a bit ironic to me, and I'm not making our show political, but we've had a lot of politics, worldly politics, global politics, as well as here. We both reside in the US, that politics has been kind of a big deal. So we've got the emperor, daddy. And I think it's so eerie because that's what the mega cult calls the regime, the head of the regime right now is daddy, right? Who's your daddy? And he's got his sunglasses on. Respect my authority. And I feel like, yes, when we are talking about what did we think 2025 was going to be about versus what it actually turned into, with the Emperor card, you often think, oh, okay, there's going to be momentum. There's a divine masculine quality to things. There's a strong leader that's going to enact the vision. There's power. There's, a strong sense of security here. Somebody's got your back. But when it's reversed, you have a tyrant. You have a despot. You have a fascist. You have an authoritarian. You have all the things. And it could not be more on the nose as far as I'm concerned. So, what people thought they were getting and voting for and what we got. And I'm going to tell you right now, I knew this is not a person I would ever, this is not a human I would ever connect with in any way, shape, or form. I do not support. I did not vote for. I knew that this was going to be bad, but now we're along for the ride, right? So, here it is. And so I think that's a perfect freaking card. And his choices and the regime choices have affected the entire world.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of a little bit in chaos.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What survival skill did 2025 accidentally teach us?
Let me see if I get this right. Okay, ready?
Yep. 3, 2, 1, face off.
This damn thing.
There we go. Oh, you got the star card. Awesome. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, the star is kind of like, after everything you've been through, you're still standing. You're slightly traumatized, but you're glowing.
Yeah.
This card kind of says, hope is back, chaos is a little bit settled, and you're emotionally rebooting with some better boundaries and lower tolerance for nonsense, kind of like what you were talking about. So, this is kind of like a healing era is activated. You can be soft but not stupid.
Right.
You can be thoughtful. It's the collective consciousness card, and it's the Aquarius card, which is all about people coming together and loving and optimistic kind of thing. So basically, you didn't manifest what's happening around you, but you earned it by surviving whatever the hell it was, and the
Yeah.
star in the universe is basically saying, take a breath, it gets much better from here. And you're saying, good, because I was not going to do that again. So it's faith restored and delusion removed, the
Oh
star.
my God, I love that. You're so hopeful about it.
Yeah.
I need to just have you recorded and listen to that over and over again, because I don't always feel so hopeful. So, what survival skill did 2025 accidentally teach us? This is brilliant because we got the hanged one, reverse. And this one says, one human's enlightenment is another human's piss. Sorry, I love this deck. So I'm going to laugh at it all the time, even if other people don't find it amusing. I find it very amusing. So I feel like this makes a lot of sense because this is the card of limbo. This is the card of radical surrender, radical acceptance. It is what it is. Radical surrender. I can't fix this. I can't change this. All I can change is, or all I am in control of is my responses or my reactions to what shows up. And so in the meantime, like, I'm not going to stop the avalanche from, rolling down the hill. That ship has sailed. It's about me just waiting for the avalanche to hit and for the momentum to to build to the point where we have the climax. And then after that, it's okay, what's left? How do we want to move forward? And so I definitely feel that this was survival mode for me. Like I was talking about, in when we had this card with the Four of Swords, my coping mechanism a lot of times was to just go to sleep or to go quiet and meditate a little bit. And I feel like the Hanged One is talking about that too. It's like, okay, the enlightenment comes in the surrender. And I feel like that was definitely a survival mode thing. And I feel like that was survival mode for a lot of my clients too, was that calling me up, what the hell do I do? And I'm like, what can you do? What can you do? Let's narrow it down, to the tiniest focus. What can you do? And that would help to kind of put the cuckoo back in the clock, right? Because
when I see the Hanged Man too, I always think, look at things in a different way. Change your perception.
Yeah.
I feel like the card's telling you, change your perception. If you think this is the most horrible thing, think maybe it's not. Maybe there's a lesson here. Maybe there's something good that can come out of it. And that's hard for people to do. People do not want to hear that this could be a good lesson that's happening to you when something bad happens. But a year down the line, 2 years down the line, whatever, they look back and they're like, oh shit, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have had the opportunities, the freedom, the whatever to do what I have to do. So
yeah. It's a matter of timing, it's choosing your timing, read the room. Sometimes somebody just can't receive what it is that you have to offer in that moment. Doesn't mean that it's not valid and accurate and that there is a lesson. Sometimes it's just like, serenity now. Like, I hate this and I don't want this at all, So I feel you on that. Okay, what was the biggest collective, well, that escalated quickly moment of 2025?
All right, let's see.
There were quite a fucking few.
Yeah.
The one tarot card's gonna do it, but we'll see.
All right, ready?
3, 2, 1, face off. All right, what's your card? Back it up. There we go. Oh, we both got threes. Interesting. Go for it.
So the Two of Wands. Wands is a fire card. Wands mean action, physical action, doing things, paths that you might take, that kind of an idea. It kind of just says basically you've outgrown your current situation, but you haven't fully committed to the next one. So you're kind of pacing and planning and low-key judging both options. It's kind of like about big ideas, but no departure time, a vision board energy. Or 1 foot in comfort and 1 foot in chaos. So it's not about lacking ambition. It's kind of lacking the departure date of that, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Two of Wands is basically asking, so when are we doing this? And you're like, soon, spiritually soon. So the idea is to choose your horizon. than actually walk toward it. And I think that there may have been a lot of false starts this year with things because of those things you were talking about. Some people may have wanted to start a business, and that's not the year to do it with the economy. Some people may have wanted to start a family, not the year to do it with everything that's going on. All of those types of things, big ideas, but failing to jump toward them and to do them. So hopefully, I believe this year is the year to do that, especially since it's an 8 year and it's the year of the horse.
It's a 1 year. It's a 1 year.
Oh,
yes,
right.
Which means it's the Fool and the Magician all rolled into one.
2 and 6, right? And then that's what's it? Infinity. These are things that will last.
So 2026, yeah. It's a 1. It's a 10, which is a 1 year. Mm-hmm.
Oh, because of all the 4 numbers.
Yeah, okay. You have to factor in the 20 part.
That's right. So 6 and 5 is 11. Then the
6 and
12,
4.
13,
so
4.
2 plus 2 plus 2. So we have 2026.
Right.
Plus 2 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. So it's a 1.
10. So it's a 1. Okay. Well,
oh boy, Dwayne, you're in trouble if you're having me explain math to you because I suck at math.
I'm dyslexic. I don't know shit about nothing. You're lucky I even know what year it is. I try to do it, but I can't.
No, but it's a 1 year, so it makes sense what you're talking about because the energies of 2026 are really supporting us to build the new, to start new, to focus on anything that's new. Because quite frankly, after the 9, we're left with rubble. We're not left with much. So we have to build. And this year we're going to be building from scratch. So it makes
whatever the fucking number is, we're doing shit this year. Okay, people?
I wish it was an 8 year. I wish it was an 8 year.
Look, it's a 1 year.
Right? It is the mastery and the abundance and all the things and the stuff. I would fucking love that. But no, we're starting from scratch. So it's resources and making the plans and figuring out what's next and what's going to work best. So that escalated quickly moment of 2025, I got the betrayal card, heartbreak and betrayal. And I feel like that's exactly what has happened. Not making it political, just as a human being living on this planet, everyone feels some level of betrayal, some level of what the fuck. And I feel like there were so many moments, at least from a North American standpoint, and especially in the US, there were many moments like this where it was like, okay, you said one thing and you're doing something entirely different. Or you're taking it to the nth degree. There's betrayal on so many levels. So I don't even need to go in to the specifics of this. This card is very on the nose. And I should read to you what it says. So upside down, it says, I love mom, like a tattoo. And right side up, it says, I hate mom. So yeah, there's been some hatred in 2025, and I for one will be really glad to leave behind that hatred. Faux shizzle. Okay, what emotional pattern did 2025 drag into the light, whether we liked it or not?
Let's see. Maybe I'll use these other cards as a background. Let's see if that works. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Are you okay? Face off. Oh, you got 4. You got the 4 of Wands. Very cool. All right, go for it. We both.
All right. Well, I gotta stop smoking so much pot. Okay.
Edibles, dude. Edibles. That's the way to go.
So over-functioning for people who were fully capable of doing absolutely nothing, still showing up to celebrate your work. The 4 of Wands kind of exposes the pattern of doing all the labor so everyone else can enjoy the party. You built the structure, held the space, organized the win, and then watched other people pop champagne, like they helped carry the beams or something, but they didn't. And, you may have confused stability with self-sacrifice. You thought keeping the peace meant doing the most. But if you hosted situations you should have RSVP'd to, no to. You should have done something for yourself. So it kind of drags into like the realization that community doesn't mean caretaking grown adults. If you have to do everything to make it feel like a celebration, it wasn't a celebration. It was
Yeah.
unpaid emotional labor with streamers. So
Yes.
so stop building stages for people who won't lift a single plank. That's what we need to learn from all this. Do
Wow.
stuff with people that are into it just as much as you, and don't become a martyr.
Profound words, deep thoughts by Dwayne Dunleavy. All right, so I also got a 4, and this is Rich Dicks Be Like, and it is a card of greed. It is a card of counting your pennies, being penny wise and pound foolish, a card of scarcity and lack. And I'm going to say to you, yes, on an emotional level, this is what people are feeling. There's a lot of stuff going on. The powers that be, who have all of the millions and billions and trillions and whatever the fark we're talking about, are creating a situation where the average person is struggling to pay their bills. And so, the emotional pattern, this is it. It's about resource. And that's all I got to say about that. In the words of Forrest Gump, that's where it is. Rich dicks be like, we are keeping our money. We're keeping our pennies to ourselves, and y'all can figure it out for yourself. All right. What lie did 2025 expose, and what truth replaced it? So this is a 2-card roast. So we got to pull 2 cards.
Okay. And then I'm going to put my old cards behind it because that seemed to work really well.
All right, ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3, face off.
Oh, damn.
Pull it back. Yeah, keep it closer to you, then we can see it.
Oh, because of my black. That works.
Yes. Okay, so you got what? 4 of Swords, and you got 7 of Pentacles. Oh, that's cool. So yeah. I have King of Pentacles and 5 of Pentacles. All right, go for it.
All right, so basically, the 4 of Swords, we'll start with that one, is just kind of like just rest, don't react, stay quiet, everything will kind of resolve itself if you're patient enough. And this was the lie 2025 tried to sell you, which was that silence was healing, that pausing meant progress, that waiting longer would magically change people's behavior. In reality, you weren't resting. You were freezing yourself to avoid conflict, clarity, or disappointment. Okay.
Yes.
Then the 7 of Pentacles is the truth. It's like, look at the return on investment. Be honest with yourself. It forces you to confront that you were pouring time, energy, care, patience into situations that were really giving you absolutely nothing. So this card says, not everything grows just because you watered it. Some things are dead soil with good marketing.
Yes.
So you told yourself you were being peaceful. Turns out you were just waiting around to see if crumbs would turn into a meal. And the lesson basically is that rest is powerful, but rest without reassessment is just procrastination in pajamas.
Yes. Oh, God. High five, Dwayne. High 5. Oh, my God. You hit it. All right. So what truth replaced it?
The truth that replaced it is you have to do something and assess what you're doing, and not just be peaceful when you feel like you need to be, loud or whatever it is. You need to go for it and not just think, oh, everything's going to be fine if I just stay still. That's like an armadillo turning into a ball. You know what I mean? It's like nothing can protrude into it. You have to really just get in there and do it.
We go into survival mode. I won't think about that today. I'll think about that tomorrow. The ostrich with its head buried in the sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Like, subscribe, click the bell, click the join button, check out the memberships. I just need to throw that out there. And do the hype. There's a hype button apparently too. So do the hype button. Okay. The lie for me was the I wanted to make sure that I picked it up in the right order. So the lie for us was the Five of Pentacles, and this is there's some lovely filth over there, Dennis. So fives are shift, change, transformation. Fives are also conflict, right? Five of Pentacles is a card of worry, and I feel like the lie was the exactly what they said here. Hey, I think there's a lovely pile of filth over here. Distraction. Look at something else rather than focusing on what can actually really help you or what's actually really in front of you, what's actually really going on. Deception, delusion, of things. If these individuals who are struggling would just look up, they would see that they're by a building that has its lights on, that they could go into that building and get some heat or warmth or some food or, just a place to rest. But instead, they're so focused on the other thing and the other stuff that they're not looking around at the resources that are available to them. So I feel like that was the lie, is that it's the distraction, right? All of the other things in the stuff that keep you from really understanding, what's coming to pass and how you're moving forward with that. And the truth that replaced it, this is so funny. Top boy of devil cats, sugar daddy. So this is King of Pentacles. And so I feel like the truth is we have the power within us. We have the resources. We have everything that we need within us. Even when the external world looks like it's a shit show, it's a shamble, it's yes, it's all of those things, but it's also, it feels that way because it's unknown. It's, I always like to say necessity is the mother of invention, right? We're going to be in a space now where, we got comfortable or we got used to the way things were. We've been like frogs in the cold pot of water that slowly over time, heats up, and you don't even know by the time you're boiling, it's too late, right? You're not understanding. I feel like the King of Pentacles is coming through because it's saying you have the power to determine your health and your wealth. You have the power to say, here are the resources that I need. You have the power to grow the resources that you need. Don't give away your power to someone who's telling you that this pile of filth and shit is a rose garden, because it's not. It's like the person who sells you some swampland down in Florida tells you it's fucking fantastic. Can't do anything with it, but okay, you just spent 40 grand on something that you can't do with, right? So don't believe the lies. I feel like it's the empowerment piece. But like you said, Dwayne, we can't just sit back. The King of Pentacles, the challenge with the Pentacles is that it's slow and steady. It's sometimes a bit lackadaisical. It's sometimes a bit lazy in its approach, because it's like, I got all these things. So why do I need to go out and shine my light? Why do I need to do that? I'll just stay in my little hidey hole. No, that's not an option any longer. We have to get out and do things. And I think that piggybacks off what you got.
Yeah, definitely.
What part of ourselves did 2025 try to retire?
Oh, I can hold it close to me. Okay.
3, 2, 1, face off. Oh, is that Hierophant?
Justice.
Oh, Justice. Okay, you got Justice. And I got the Lovers. Ew.
Well,
all right, go for it.
I think trying to retire, 2025 tried to retire this idea of you have to explain bad behavior like it's a closing argument, like seeking fairness where there is none, or keep trying to see both sides when one side is clearly nonsense. I think we're learning that. And 2025 came for the version of us that believed, if I'm reasonable enough, ethical enough, balanced enough, this will all work out. But we are seeing that that's not the way things work. You just need to be, you don't need to be more objective. You need more discernment. That's what I think we learned this year. So we're trying to get rid of over-explaining, over-justifying, over-balancing situations that were already tipped. Accountability doesn't require empathy gymnastics. Fairness is not your job to enforce alone. That's what I think 2025 is retiring for all of us. It's opened our eyes to this idea of justice and reality and, all of those things.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And me getting the lovers, and I'll read the lovers card in a second, but me getting the lovers card is about choices and it's about reflection. Who am I in your eyes? How does another person see me through their eyes, and how do I see them through their eyes, see me through their eyes, right? So there's a reflection and a self-reflection. We are mirrors to one another. We reflect back to one another what it is that we are offering, sharing, what we're presenting, and is it what we really want to be presenting? Is that how we want to be seen out into the world? And I love, Dwayne, exactly what you said, the messaging of that. We've had to look within and say, what part have we played in our own destruction and in our own demise? We have to be accountable to that. That's the only way we are going to achieve justice. This card also indicates the blending. I want to say a healthy blending, or hopefully a healthy blending. Sometimes it can be about dysfunction as well, but a blending of the divine masculine and the divine feminine that is within all of us. And yes, the divine masculine has its own path and purpose and its own characteristics, as well as the divine feminine from an individual perspective, but they work better when they're together. They are able to achieve their highest potential when there's synergy, when there is synchronicity. And I feel like this card has been, represents a lot of divisiveness. This is the Gemini. So, there can be this and that, right? And, the black and the white of things. And I feel like what we're retiring is exactly that. We need to be looking at where we need one another, where we can be synergistic and help one another, or to understand this is the part I play in the whole of it all, right? I am an individual pursuing my individual path within this community. You talked about community before. Within this community, this is who I'm choosing to be. So I'll just read this to you. So it's ew. I told you. So this is the angel. I told you to pick where you want to eat. And then Eve says, yeah, but when I chose forbidden fruit, you couldn't have told me it causes love-crushing flatulence. And Adam says, what?
I thought I smelled something.
Oh my God. All right. This is the last question of our recap. And then round 2 is coming up. If 2025 were a tarot card in its villain era, which one would it be? Oh, I can't wait to see what this one is. I hope it's the fucking devil, because ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, face off. Okay. Oh my God, you got 9 of Pentacles. All right, you go first. I'm glad you get to go first.
Right. Well, so the 9 of Pentacles is kind of like, 2025 didn't come to destroy you. It came to cut off access. Like the villain era energy said, I'm not punishing you. I'm just making you self-sufficient so you stop negotiating your worth. The 9 of Pentacles as a villain is kind of like the glow up that felt lonely at first. Less access, fewer explanations, maybe higher standards, locked gates, not walls. Be teaching you that independence is quiet. Self-respect doesn't announce itself. Not everyone deserves proximity. So basically you didn't lose someone, you lost dependence. The whole idea here is that luxury is not money. It's not needing permission, approval, or company to feel complete. That's the idea. That's what we should have learned over this last year about, what we may have thought were negative things. It's positive outcomes. This is what I was saying earlier too.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen and you don't realize what the beauty or the benefit of is until a little while later. So that's what this card is saying. It's saying you may have lost people, you may have lost a job, you may have lost whatever, but that's because you're gaining independence. You're gaining self-worth. You're gaining the part of you that doesn't require explanation to let other people know what your worth is, or that you're independent, or that you're self-aware and self-dependent.
Ramen and pasta luya. Brilliantly said. I love it. All right. So the 2025 villain card here is the moon card, and it's called Crazy Town, which is pretty on point here.
Yeah.
So you have the dog and the wolf, and you have the lobster. So the dog is looking up at the moon and saying, "This road trip is going to be an absolute shit show." And the crayfish coming out of the water says, "Yeah, it's going to be crayfish." And then the moon is like, "Ugh." And the moon has a croissant. I think is so funny. So this being the villain, I think it makes a lot of sense because the moon represents the secrets that we keep. It represents lunacy, the madness. The moon regulates the water, and the water is our ocean of emotion. The water is also the psychic realm. And if we are not, I want to say, aware, not necessarily balanced, but if we're not aligned and aware, the moon can take us over. It can cause lunacy, craziness, losing our minds, a lack of rationality, a lack of clarity. The moonlight is still light. I always like to say it's Scooby-Doo because in Scooby-Doo, they would be, driving up to this house and all of a sudden they see a ghost on the wall in the garage and oh my God, and it's going to be whatever. And then they, have to, quickly peer in and see what's going on. And when they get into the garage, they realize, oh, it's just a rag on a rake. So things are not always what they seem. And I feel like that's exactly what 2025 has been for us. It's not what we expected. It's not always what we seem, and we always need to go a little bit deeper. The moon provides light. It sheds light on things, but it's a softer light. It's a more deceptive light versus the sun, that is the light of truth on everything. This is also the divine feminine energy that is saying, I will not be suppressed any longer. I am coming to the surface. And you can get the nice, loving, nurturing side of me, or you can get the lunacy side of me, that you are not paying attention. So I'm going to do everything I can to get your attention. And if that means bringing Crazy Town to the situation, then that's what it means. So yeah, the moon, Crazy Town is our villain. Hilarious. Okay. All right, Dwayne, round 2. This is our face-off energy 2025 versus 2026. First one is, what energy are we leaving behind in 2025? And what energy is tagging in for 2026?
Okay, ready?
Ready. 3, 2, 1, face off. Oh, you got the death card. Go for it.
Death card. Yes, the dreaded death card, which never really usually means death of a person. It usually always means the death of something. And basically, what's leaving is dragging things along way past their expiration date, out of nostalgia or guilt. But it used to make sense in my life. Well, not anymore, It's that energy of over-explaining, ending, soft quitting situations, instead of actually ending them, or keeping doors cracked just in case. Death says that phase is done. It's not paused. It's not on sabbatical. It's done. So what comes in is going to be clean breaks. No speeches, no emotional PowerPoints to show. The new energy is swift endings, zero drama, identity upgrades. That's what you want to do. That don't ask permission, and choosing evolution over comfort, because that's going to help you a lot more, and that's going to bring you into your next phase. It's death is, it's not chaos, it's efficiency. It's quick and easy, and you're not losing anything. You're being relieved of what you've already outgrown. That's all. Endings are not the problem. Dragging them out was. So the whole idea, the whole idea behind this is get rid of all that stuff that you've outgrown. It's kind of like a fasting. of all of those things, clearing your body of those toxins and then moving on and being able to start much quicker and better and new without all that baggage.
Wow. I keep hearing in my head as you're talking, Miley Cyrus's, I came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
That's what I feel is like you're talking about, right? It's
Yeah,
the total
totally.
wrecking ball. So this is going to piggyback off of what you just talked about. And I think it's fucking brilliant because the Two of Swords for me is the shit sandwich card. It's like the choice between shit sandwich A and shit sandwich B. Neither shit sandwich is the ideal option, but in order to get unstuck, in order to move forward, you got to eat the shit sandwich, get on the other side of it, and just choose a path. You know, it's kind of like there isn't a right or wrong at this point. The goal is just to make a choice. The goal is to take that step forward. And I feel like, you know, piggybacking off of what you said, your card was really reflective of the 2025 and how to kind of make that work. I feel like this is basically the answer for us for 2026. This is how we need to move in. We don't need to get stuck and caught up in, you know, is this the right choice or is that the right choice? It's more about we need to commit. We need to just make a choice, commit to that path, and we'll figure it out as we go. And she says here, so she's blindfolded and she's like, you guys still there? Like, are you still there? What's going on? I can't see anything. You know, is the game over? Can I drop these swords now? And kind of like what you said, we don't need permission. This is not a time to ask for permission. This is a time to just say, here's what I'm doing. And you can follow along with me. You can join me, or you can choose not to. All that matters is love and light. I'm moving forward. I'm moving on. And if you want to join me, awesome. And if you don't, awesome. I support your choice. But here's how I need to move forward. So that just makes total sense. Love that. Okay. What habit from 2025 will absolutely not survive 2026? Oh, okay. A card just flew out at me. So it clearly wants to be the answer to this question.
All right, let's see. My card. Oh, okay. Ready?
All right. What habit from 2025 will absolutely not survive 2026? 3, 2, 1, face off. Oh, all right. Oh, I love your ace. Go for it.
Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords basically is, it's funny because this theme keeps coming up over and over again, kind of overthinking yourself into silence. So the habit that's going to get cut in 2026 is rewriting those texts 12 times and, you know, mentally arguing both sides before speaking, you know, or waiting
I'm in trouble.
Wording while the moment passes. You know,
I'm in trouble because I do that shit all the time.
It's true. And, you know, it's the new in 2025, you told yourself, I'll say something once I'm 100% clear. But the Ace of Swords calls out that as nonsense, basically. You know, this card says clarity comes from speaking, not before it. Truth doesn't need a committee. You know, silence is not maturity. It's fear wearing a blazer. You know, so you're no longer editing yourself to make other people comfortable. You know, 2026 is going to be about directness, precision, saying the thing cleanly, calmly, and without an apology. So the sword is sharp, and you're done dulling it down to avoid reactions, basically.
Wow. I love that. So I got Chad a Dick Sticks, which is the Knight of Wands. And he says, let's go. You can trust me because I'm effing adorable. So I feel like it's, you know, the habit from 2025 is blindly trusting someone's charm, blindly trusting another person's mask. You know, we all wear masks. We all, you know, try to protect ourselves when we are out and about in the world. This is, I want to say, just kind of a natural, normal part of humanity. But this, I feel, is the habit that we're having to break. And kind of like what you said, there's going to be precision. There's no time for, you know, fluffery. It's going to be direct. And I feel like this is the habit that we're breaking, is this idea of I'm running full force and I'm going to completely buy into everything that you're showing me without evaluating what you're saying versus what I'm feeling you're saying or not saying. It's the feeling, connecting to the feeling of it. People can say a lot of shit. People can make things look really incredible. I'm going to tell you right now, so many people that I have that are clients of mine, we will have a session where I know that it's a shit show, in their house or in their relationship. I know that something really horrible is going on, and we're working through it. We're getting the guidance, we're being supportive, we're, connecting. And after that session, I go on social to check something out business wise, because I'm not a social media girl. And I go on there and I see a picture of the client talking about how amazing their partner is. And I'm like, who are you trying to convince? Because you and I both know something really shitty and horrible happened, and you're trying to work through that. But this is what you're putting out into the world. This is the habit that we're breaking, this idea that we need to be anything other than authentic.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned before about discernment with the judgment, the justice card. And I feel discernment is coming up there too. So, wow.
Yeah, this keeps coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. What unfinished business from 2025 shows up again in 2026? Dressed differently.
Ready?
Ready. 3, 2, 1, face off. Ooh, I just said judgment.
Yep.
All right, go for it.
All right. Well, so the judge, I love this card, by the way, because there's the Saint.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got justice.
Oh my God. Isn't that funny?
Sorry.
Judgment and justice.
That's crazy. We were just talking about that.
So basically, this is the judgment card is kind of like saying it's the call that you ignored, but this time it's wearing better shoes and has zero patience. It shows up in 2026 as a familiar theme with a new face, or an old lesson pretending to be a fresh opportunity. Like a haven't we done this before moment, but clearer. So in 2025, you hesitated. In 2026, the universe skips that whole warm-up crap. It's not about punishment. It's really about response time. So what you avoided doesn't come back to haunt you. It comes back to see if you're ready. So the plot twist here is kind of like it's the same soul assignment, but higher self in charge. And the message here is kind of like answer the call this time. It's not louder. You're just done pretending that you didn't hear it.
Yeah, it's not burying your head in the sand.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, I love that. So this one, karma's a bitch. And it says, time to eat your karma cookies. Hope you didn't make with poisons. So I feel like to kind of piggyback off of what you said, we are in a space, justice is blind. Justice is also about discernment and detachment. And I feel like the unfinished business is, what have we attached ourselves to that has kept us powerless? The justice card is coming through to say no more. Detach yourself so that you can make decisions that are going to be more aligned and more in balance with what your needs are at this time. Your needs for 2025 were going to be very different than the needs that you're going to have for 2026, because you are reinventing yourself. And whenever we are in a space and a phase of reinventing ourselves and starting something new, we need different things to do that. And often we can't move forward into the next thing that we're trying to build and create using the old. So it is absolutely a detachment of all that was. And that gives you the freedom to step into what you are becoming, or who you are becoming in that moment. So that's going to be a huge theme, I feel like, coming up in 2026. So I love that. Yeah, dressed differently. I love that you mentioned the shoes. I thought that was cute. What mistake from 2025 actually turns into wisdom in 2026.
Right.
And this is kind of cool because this really is, I want to say, piggybacking off of what you've been saying this whole time, which is look for the gift
It
in
keeps
why
coming
this
up.
is all
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
Keeps coming up that we've been putting stuff behind us and under the carpet and head in the sand. And this year it's like, bring it all out, get it all done.
Yeah. Yeah. And stop living in a fantasy land.
Yeah.
Live in the land of vision and co-creation. Fantasy land is things happening outside of you and you're just watching and observing and maybe participating in, but it's not yours.
Right.
Co-creation, you got some skin in the game. It's yours. Yeah, I love that. All right. 3, 2, 1, face off. Ooh, we both got cups this time. All right, go for it.
All right. So this this is the Page of Cups. Excuse me. And basically, mistaking emotional openness for emotional readiness. The mistake kind of wasn't being sensitive. It was assuming that curiosity or sweetness or vulnerability automatically meant someone could handle depth. The Page of Cups shows that you may be led with your heart before checking capacity, or interpreted charm as maturity. Or confuse potential with presence. Just being there makes you happy, and then you think, oh, but they have no potential. You don't realize that kind of thing. So it taught you that not everybody who feels deeply knows what to do with those feelings. Innocence is not the issue. The discernment was missing. We were talking about that earlier. And basically the wisdom gained is that you can stay open and selective. Naivete doesn't survive, but wonder does. So just try to keep that in mind that, it's not just because they're there, not just because they have emotional abilities, but are they right for you? Is it the depth that you need for your relationship, for whether that's friends, coworkers, bosses, it's the whole thing. So I think that the mistake that's turning into wisdom is that we will see through all of that stuff. It's not just allowing people around you and into your life because they seem prepared or ready or worthy, but because they are prepared, worthy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's doing the homework. Absolutely doing the homework. And piggybacking off of that, I've got the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups is the ideal outcome. This is the idea that this is what I'm working towards, and now it's arrived and I'm happy. But the ideal outcome I'm feeling when we're talking about the mistake is that you not you, Dwayne, the general you, us, we have been allowing other people's visions to take over our own visions for our own lives. We've taken our foot off the gas pedal a bit in terms of the role that we're playing in the collective. And I feel like that's what is becoming the wisdom of 2026 is revamping the vision. What is the ideal outcome for all? And then with my ideal outcome, what are the ways that I can participate in that? What are the ways that I can lean into that to live my purpose and to be in flow with my ideal outcome? Because when I am living my happiness and my joy and my truth, that is helping the collective. It's absolutely helping the collective. This is not I have to sacrifice my dreams, goals, choices, options, my desired outcomes. I don't have to sacrifice that for the good of all. But I need to kind of have a plan and a focus and understand that when I am living my joy, I'm able to create more joy. And that is what is going out into the collective. But also participating and creating your vision, understanding that you are a broader part, a bigger part of this world. Sorry, I'm having like lighting issues. Let's see if I can.
That's the light of discernment.
I'm making it worse. All right. Well, whatever. We're gonna have some light show on Stacy's face. So this card says, "I love you so much, gang. Perms for everyone." And the kids are like, "Yay!"
Yay!
Those kids clearly don't understand what a perm is because they
Well,
would
a
not
lot
be
of kids these
saying
days,
yay.
a lot of teenagers are getting perms. Young boys are getting perms because they want that curly,
They
fluffy
want the
look.
curly look. Yeah, well, let me tell you something. My Forever 30 ass used to have perms all the time. And that perm solution was, I swear to God, I'm probably like forever deformed as a result of how much. Oh, it was nasty. Okay, what emotional upgrade does 2026 offer us as compensation for 2025? Oh, I like that. Like, all right, 2025, pay up. You owe us. All right. 1, 2, 3, face off. Ooh, Queen of Swords. All right, go for it.
All right. Well, so the Queen of Swords is about clarity. Like you didn't get an apology, you got clarity. You know, like the Queen of Swords is the emotional upgrade that arrives after you've cried enough and explained enough and waited long enough for someone else to get it, basically. And this keeps coming up. You know, this is like, I think the theme of all of these cards has been really having feelings without boundaries, you know, compassion without self betrayal, or truth that's clean and not cruel, you know, because 2025 drained you emotionally. This card compensates by giving you discernment over doubt, like we've been saying, self respect over approval, or silence that's intentional, not suppressed. You know, like we've been doing for the year, thinking, oh, we'll just get through that and then it'll all make sense. So you don't need to be harsh. You're just no longer confused. You know, the compensation that you're going to get is a clear mind, sharp intuition, and basically zero tolerance for emotional nonsense.
Love it. Love it. So the emotional upgrade that we're getting is the victory card. This is the 6 of Wands. But the interesting thing about this victory is sometimes it can be a false victory. Sometimes the message in this is to understand, okay, you won this battle, but you haven't yet won the war. So don't get too cocky. Don't rest on your laurels too much. Understand that I always like to say wisdom is a nothing burger unless you apply it, unless you use it to make different decisions and different choices. And I feel like that's the emotional gift. It's like, okay, you know, 2025 was hard on you. Absolutely. Here's the gift that comes out of it. Here's the gem, the jewel. But are you going to use it? Or are you going to preen your feathers and strut your stuff and act like you are, you know, the mayor of, you know, fucking Barrystown that has a population of 55 people? Or are you looking to the future to say, okay, what is the next goal, the next approach? You know, not to say we always need to be achieving something new, but in a 1 year, this is the building part of it. There's imagination that goes into this. There's visioning, like I said, co-creative energy, manifesting, and making a plan, you know, to head out there. So yeah, you can preen your feathers and strut your stuff for a little while, but the work isn't done. You know, this is just an acknowledgement that you've won a battle. Now it's time to plan for the next. And this card says, everybody look at me. I'm amazing at everything I do. I smell like a god. Do you even know what a god smells like? It's so great. We do not want to be like that, okay? We do not. That's like count. It's like the count. 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
All right. Oh, we are at round 3. Round 3 has 5 questions, so we are coming to the end. And there's some bonus questions that we can pull too. All right. So round 3. This is all about 2026. Now featuring growth, apparently. So, what's the main vibe of 2026? No marketing spin allowed.
Right.
one, face off.
Oh,
Oh, the Hermit.
that's
All right, go
exactly
for
what
it.
I've been saying. It's so funny. It's exactly what I've been talking about. The Hermit. It's about less noise, fewer people, better choices about what you're doing. This is very Virgo-y, all of this stuff that's happening. It's very like, it says it's not about disappearing. It's about withdrawing your energy from places that never returned it, basically. So the
Yeah.
year's vibes include saying no without explaining, which I have to do, choosing solitude over performative connection, which is, I do that too. And then
Yeah.
thinking before reacting, finally. So that's the kind of thing that I think really is going to be the main vibe of 2026. It's intentional containment, basically. You're not lonely, you're selective. 2026 won't look exciting from the outside, but internally, it's the most aligned you'll be and have been in years. So just keep in mind that peace is quiet and you're done mistaking noise for life. That's
Yeah.
me.
Wow. I love it. So I find it interesting that I got kind of a not polar opposite, but like a very opposite energy to
Mhm.
the Hermit. And I got the Three of Cups, which is typically a card of celebration. But what I
Yeah.
keep hearing here is the main vibe of 2026 is stop the gossip.
Mhm.
Stop putting your attention and your focus to the gossip. Yes, hermit, but then go out and have some fun. Find the joy. Find your purpose. And the purpose, my guides have always said it's a very human thing to try and attach purpose to everything. What's my purpose? I must have a big purpose. It's a very societal expectation out there. But the guides are like, your sole purpose is to live your life with as much joy as you can handle in whatever way that is for you. Each of you comes down to have an individual experience. So, what lights your fire and floats your boat is going to be different than, the next person, your neighbor next to you. But both of you, the mission and the purpose is to just live your joy. And I would take it a step further and say, live your truth. So when we're looking at this Three of Cups, I feel like the vibe is going to be about where can we find the moments to celebrate? It's the little victories. It's the simple things in life, the simple joys in life, and it's community. It's coming together with you had said like being selective. This is you selecting your team, your posse, your tribe, your inner circle.
Yeah.
And don't don't choose individuals that are focused on what my dad has a saying: small minds talk about people, average minds talk about circumstances, situations, events. Great minds talk about ideas. Got any? That's what he always says. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what this is about. It's pick and choose, be selective about the people that you spend time with because they're going to recharge you, because that hermit energy is helping you to determine who you're choosing to become.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go out and you're going to shine that, and you're going to attract to yourself individuals who are going to be able to support that. So I feel like it's also really important to acknowledge the hermit and the go out and have some fun.
That's
So there's
duality.
going to be the
Duality.
balance. Yes. Yes. I love that. Brilliant. What collective superpower activates in 2026? This one was one of my favorites because I love superpower stuff. All right. What collective superpower activates in 2026? Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, face off. Ooh, okay, go for it.
I got the Knight of Swords. So again, this is like we were talking about this earlier about thinking before you speak and really waiting till everything's perfect. This is different. This is speed with your mouth, basically. Collective superpower of 2026 is decisive action paired with unfiltered honesty. And I know a lot of people try to get to that point. It's hard, but less processing, more moving, less politeness, more truth. This energy looks like it's like saying it while the thought is fresh, basically. Acting before fear kind of comes in and schedules everything that you're going to do. Cutting through the nonsense without asking for permission, again, is such a big theme that we've been going through this whole time. Is it subtle? No. Is it effective? Absolutely, because we're no longer waiting to feel ready. Basically, momentum replaces this rumination. Clarity replaces consensus. I know so many people, well, what do you think? Well, what should I do? Well, what do you think about this? Let me tell the story 700 times to 700 people and get 700 answers. It's so crazy. So think fast, but don't confuse urgency with recklessness. Okay, the power isn't force, it's just forward motion. So make those decisions quickly and just do what feels right, what's true, and not because it's nice or polite, but because it's true and it's honest.
Yes. Oh my God, I love it. And so mine is the Ace of Wands, which is the noob of dick sticks. Time to knock the leaves off this bitch. And so when we're talking about the Ace of Wands, it is inspired action. And I can't help but notice that we got an air sign in the Knight of Swords, which is very action oriented, and air and fire work well together. Fire needs air in order to exist. And I feel like the Knight of Swords, the messaging that you were giving there in the Knight of Swords, is going to activate this inspired action. It's going to say, let's bring a focus to what is happening. So I feel like the superpower here is focus, but it's inspired focus. So you're not going to just take action by throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks this time. You're actually going to say, okay, here's a really cool idea. How do I feel about it? Ooh, I feel great about this. All right, this is the thing that I'm going to act on. If you have an idea, you sit in and you check in how you feel about it, and it's lackluster, and it's and there's no, there's a tiny little flame rather than, kind of the bonfire, then you might be saying, okay, this isn't necessarily the way that I want to go. So I feel like inspired action is really about inspired focus. And that's the superpower of 2026. Ooh, I love that. Yay! What's the first sign we'll notice that 2026 is not playing the same games as 2025?
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1, face off. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. An 8 and a 7. Go for it.
8 of Pentacles. Again, this is an earth thing, very grounded. And basically, this means this year, unlike last year, the work is going to start working. In 2025, it's like endless labor, minimal return. Why am I even doing this kind of energy? Which I felt a lot of. The 8 of Pentacles in 2026 says that skills sharpen, that your focus is going to narrow, and that your results are going to show up quietly but consistently. So that's going to be the key this year. No drama, no chaos, no grand announcement. You stop explaining your process and start seeing progress. So, and this has been me too. The real flex of this is, consistency without burnout, craft without chaos. It's like, don't waste your effort in 2026. Just do what's showing progress, what's showing return.
And like you said, don't ask for permission or don't wait for permission.
Right.
You just go and you do the thing. I always say, ask for forgiveness rather than permission, right? It's easier to ask for forgiveness. So just move forward. If it doesn't work for somebody else, you'll know pretty quickly that it doesn't work for somebody else. And you'd be like, okay, sucks to be you. I'm sorry. And I'll move on. Or, okay, I understand that. And we can try a different path, but at least you put it out there. At least you planted the seeds at the very least, which I think is great. So mine is the 7 of Wands, and this is a card typically of defense, feeling like you have to defend yourself. Mm-hmm. But I also like to read this card. I call it the Brene Brown card. I mean, you can, any thought leader out there, you can, Mel Robbins. I don't even know what the young kids today, who their idols are, who they're following. But it's the idea that you've acquired all of this wisdom and knowledge, And now other people are bringing their wands to you because they want to light their fire with your fire, right? They want to learn from you. They're inspired by you, but it can also be burnout, like you said, where you've got you've got 6 wands here and you're only 1 wand. And yeah, you've got enough energy, or maybe you don't. Your flame is there, but you got to check into your energy. So I'm feeling like the first sign we'll notice that 2026 is not playing the same games is when people are starting to come to you asking you for solutions.
Mhm.
Not bringing problems to you, bringing being solutions focused, or they're bringing an issue to you and saying, how do we solve this problem? Or let's solve this problem together. So either they're coming to you for solutions, or they're listening to your opinion, listening to what you have to offer, asking for it, soliciting that information. But this also says, I need to also be aware of where my energy levels are at. I'm not going to overgive. And you've been talking about that, overthinking, overanalyzing, asking too much, blah, blah, blah. No, it's checking in and saying, do I have the energy to give to this? Or do I maybe need to say, happy to help? I'll be available tomorrow. I can't drop everything and help you today. I might need to just, take care of it tomorrow. And like you said, my languaging, but be unapologetic about it. You don't have to explain why you're choosing to do something. You're simply saying, would love to help you out. I'm available tomorrow at 3, and they're like, but I need it today. Okay, you might have to go to somebody else because I'm available tomorrow at 3 and I'll be all yours for an hour. And we can brainstorm. We can talk about whatever. I'll be available tomorrow at 3. Leave the solution, or leave the ball in their court, right? You've got the solution, leave the ball in their court. Teach others how you wish to be treated. I feel like that's really huge. Okay, where does 2026 ask us to show up braver, louder, or more unapologetic? Oh my God, that's so funny. I just said that.
All right, let's see. Oh, shit, I dropped my cards. Wait, hold on a second. Oh. Okay. Ready?
Ready. 3, 2, 1, face off. Ooh, the moon. I got the 10 of Wands. Go for it.
All right. So the moon, I always see this card as such a crazy card. There's like a lobster and a wolf and a dog and all these things. This has to do with evolution. It has to do with spirituality, everything. But it's basically it's the messy middle. It's uncertainty. It's feelings you can't really explain neatly. 2026 asks you to kind of stop pretending that you're clear when you're actually in transition. So the moon says kind of show up unapologetically. I'm confused, but I'm honest. I'm intuitive without proof. I'm emotional without a press release.
Right.
So this year you stop gaslighting yourself with logic when your instincts are already screaming. You don't need certainty to be authentic. You just need courage to admit that you're still figuring things out. So your sensitivity is no longer a liability. It's like a navigation system. So the message here is kind of like walk forward no matter what it is, even when the path isn't fully lit. You just have to know that that's what you're doing and go for it.
Yeah. Walk with your head held high. Walk forward with confidence, not confidence that everything's going to work out exactly the way you think it's going to, but walk with confidence that you are on the right path and that your angels and guides are going to figure it out. The universe is going to help you. When you take one step towards yourself, the universe takes 10 steps on your behalf. Yeah. It's a trust fall, right?
Yep.
It's a lesson in trust.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. So we've got the 10 of Wands here, and this one says, building a boat, bust out another 1,000. God, can I relate to that? I redid my website in 2025. It was supposed to be a 2-month process. You know, I got the estimate, signed the contract, went ahead. 10 months later, it was an absolute shit show, and the website still isn't complete, and it's cost me at this point now almost triple what I originally had contracted to pay for. So yeah, like yeah, whenever you're starting something new, make sure that you save a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's like when you're buying a house, make sure that you're conservative with what money you're going to need, because you're always going to need more. There's always something that comes up. But when we say, where does 2026 ask us to show up braver, louder, or more unapologetic? I feel like it's in recognizing I don't need to, and you've been talking about this the whole time, I don't need to show the world all of my rewards. I don't need to show the world all of my accolades or the reason why I have the right to breathe the air that I breathe and take up the space that I take. I don't need to prove myself to the world. So if I don't need to prove myself to the world, I don't really need to carry all of these wands with me. I don't need the burden of all of this shit. Let me drop it all, pick up the two that are going to be like walking sticks to, help me up the mountain of the next, path or journey that I'm taking, and give myself permission to say, I'm going to be able to create or acquire the things that I need along the way. And I need to not be so beholden to the past, locked up in what was. This is a complete disconnection and a disassociation from what was to what is. And yeah, we're kind of in the messy middle of it. We are still going to be kind of looking back going, I'm watching The West Wing right now, rewatching it. I watched it years ago when it was on. I'm rewatching it now. And I'm telling you, some moments are just, it makes me so sad, because I'm like, that was the big deal then. I wish those were the problems that we were dealing with now, right? But at the same time, I'm watching it, recognizing I can enjoy it for what it was, but I need to move forward. I've got to create something new. And I'm using that only to inform where I need to go big, where I need to not settle and not sacrifice, where I need to drop the fucking wands that are just not worth my time anymore. I can figure it out as I go. So I feel like the 10 of Wands is really inviting us to let go of a bunch of stuff, to recognize where we're carrying the torch for things that no longer can be, and nor do we want them to be. So it's moving forward in that regard. All right, what's the most supportive message 2026 has for those still emotionally tired from 2025? Oh my God. Like, who isn't emotionally tired, quite frankly? The whole year has just been like, I feel like Sleeping Beauty. Like, I gripped my finger on the pin and I've missed. Oh, maybe I wish I had missed so much of this. All right. 3, 2, 1, face off. Oh, interesting. You got another page. I love it. Go for it.
Getting all the pages today. So again, Pentacles, a lot of earthbound stuff happening. And basically, what this card says to me is that it's telling you that you need a starting point. This kind of goes back to something earlier too. Like it isn't asking you to leap like the Fool was. It's more asking you to plan something small and believable. Don't say, oh, I'm going to be a trillionaire by March. Right. Say maybe I'm going to make a few $100s on this endeavor by March, and that will be more than I made on it last month or whatever. It doesn't mean that rest is stagnation, or that, slow progress still counts. Learning is a form of hope. Learning how to do things is a form of hope. And so you may still feel tired, but you're no longer depleted. You're more rebuilding your capacity. And you don't have to feel inspired really to begin. You just have to begin. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I'll get to it when it feels comfortable. And, just do it. Just do it. Small efforts will compound. And this time, because of 2026, they grow. It's not just spinning your wheels. So that's what I think the overall thing of this year is. is to just do things that you want to do and immediately. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for the right
Yes.
everything. So many people do that and they miss their chances because they're waiting for perfection. And this time in life, 2025, 2026, it's so different. In 2022, when people were putting out social media videos, everything had to be perfect, polished, beautiful,
Oh
everything.
yeah.
We're so used to it. Now in 2026, when it's polished, perfect, beautiful, we think they spent a lot of money. I don't trust it. I don't believe it. It's AI,
Right.
whatever it is. When you mess things up and things aren't perfect, whatever, you're showing authenticity. So
Yeah.
stop trying to be perfect. Be perfectly imperfect. That's the key.
Yeah. I love it. I know just what you're talking about. I'm thinking about years ago. I mean, it cost me a fortune to get videos edited and to do all the things right. And now it's like, no, it's okay if, Neo walks across the screen or sits on the cards or, whatever. It's fine if the camera angle's off for a minute, and because, people know that is you being real,
Right.
and I think that is what we need in this time of deceit and lies and fake news and all of this
Mhm.
bullshit. We need the authenticity, and you resonate. Your body keeps the score. Your body, your energetic body can tell when somebody is authentic versus when they're not, but you got
Right.
to be tuned in to be able to receive that info. So yes, most supportive message here is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups in this case, I feel, is saying, don't cry over spilled milk. He's sitting under this tree and he's feeling sorry for himself because he's focused on these three cups that are empty, that are no longer serving his purpose, that are maybe the milk in there has gone sour, and he's focusing on that. Is, he's got his arms crossed. He's, again, feeling sorry for himself. Poor, pitiful me. But what he's not paying attention to is there's this beautiful blue sky and there's a beautiful spiritual hand that's coming out to say, hey dude, I got another opportunity for you. But if you're focusing on the past or you're focusing on what didn't work, I feel like it's like cut your losses and move forward. Yes, you can evaluate, to a certain degree, what happened, like decompress from the situation, what happened from the situation so that we don't repeat the bad thing or the whatever. But the focus is to get that information so that you're moving forward, not to wallow in what was in the past. And I feel like that's what I've been talking about this whole time. So here's what his thoughts are. I already have 3 damn crybabies. Get that thing away from me. Oh my God, that makes me laugh so hard. The other thing I want to say is this is a 4. And 4 is about establishing energy. And when we are talking about cups, it's establishing a better emotional base for yourself. If you're always sitting in that poor, pitiful me, playing victim mode or getting caught up on things or in things that really aren't going to serve you moving forward, you're just going to keep yourself stuck. And everyone else, the world is going to move beyond you. The world's going to move past you. And I feel like 2026, it's super important that you understand that you need to give yourself permission to say yes to what arises. I had a conversation with a client the other day. This came up in her reading. And I said, it doesn't mean that you have to say yes to everything and that you have to say yes to things that you really, don't feel is what you want to do. Because the universe, presents all types of options to you so that you have choice. You can feel into, is this something I want to pursue? Is this going to be good for me? Does this align with, my particular goals and my choices? But you can say yes to considering every option that crosses your path. So I feel like that's the special message for us is look around you, say yes to every experience, every option, every opportunity, every potential that crosses your path. Say yes to considering it. Because when you take the time to consider it, you can feel it into your body and you can determine then whether this is something that I want to pursue, or you can say, I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to consider it and I'm choosing a different option. This is all about co-creation. This is the art of co-creation. And I feel like that is the big theme that I'm getting about 2026 is you got to have some skin in your own game. And the skin in your own game is going to benefit the world at large. It's going to benefit the collective. All right. So, Dwayne, we've got 2. Let's do rapid fire for our bonus. The first one, if 2026 had a warning label, what would it say?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, face off. Ooh, okay. So you got
6 of Swords. So the 6 of, I'm sorry, was it the 6 of Swords?
Yeah.
It is. Yes. The 6 of Swords, this one always has kind of like a meaning of people helping you when you hadn't expected it, or the people coming out of the blue where you hadn't kind of dealt with something. You're not looking back, though you're still kind of seeing it from the boat, like quiet exit, no announcement, healing in progress, not yet completed. So it's not like a dramatic escape. It's a strategic withdrawal is basically what you want to think about. When you're talking about the warning label, it's kind of like, let's get you somewhere calmer. So, great, but I'm emotionally kind of jet lagged. You're not running away, you're relocating your peace is what you got to do. So basically, make sure that you do what needs to be done to make yourself feel comfortable.
Yep.
And get away from people, or if you need to, get away from experiences, situations, whatever you need to do.
Love it. So if 2026 had a warning label, what would it say? Oh, look, another rabbit hole. Read for yourself. So I feel like that's the warning label is you need to be present. You need to not be afraid to look at yourself, to do the deep dive, to do that deeply personal, intimate journey of who you are choosing to become. Because otherwise you're going to go down someone else's rabbit hole and you're going to get lost. So this is about, I want to say, radical self-care from the perspective of needing to take care of your own shit. Do the work. So if you don't do the work, that's the warning. If you don't do the work, this is not going to be good. You're going to go down someone else's rabbit hole. But if you do the work, you're present and focused, and you're taking care of yourself.
Stay in your own hole.
Final lightning round. We have, what would the tarot like us to stop dramatizing immediately in 2026?
All right, here we go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, face off. Oh, okay, go for it.
Well, that's the King of Swords. All right, lots of swords coming up now. So, King of Swords means that in 2026, we should stop dramatizing other people's opinions. Get over it, people. Like, the King of Swords is saying, stop turning outside noise into like an internal TED Talk or something, like it calls out the habit of like over explaining your choices or treating every question like it's a cross examination, mentally debating people who aren't even in the room. People get so upset about things. And so 2026 wants you to have clear decisions, not emotional reenactments. Not everything requires a backstory or a disclaimer or a PowerPoint,
Yeah.
So really what you want to do is say it once, mean it, and move on. Say it once, mean it, and move on. Because the message here is, hi, kitty. Clarity is calm. Drama is optional.
Yeah.
Keep those in mind. Clarity is calm, and drama is optional.
Dwayne, you are full of the perfect one-liners today.
Thank you.
One-liners. Yeah, you just are shining so bright today. I love it. You are. So I got the 7 of Pentacles, which is, and this is what this says. I think it tags perfectly with what you were saying. Helicopter Parent of the Year award. So what I'm feeling with this is stop over obsessing. Again, the perfection. Stop looking at the things that you have and saying it's not enough. And I feel like, this guy is standing there, and where he could be getting some of the work done, what he's doing instead is he's getting lost in the daydream of the past, what once was, what could be, but he's not actually taking steps to do it. He's feeling a bit paralyzed. This is a card of reaping rewards, but I also like to say it's the card where, okay, you're shifting from one level of work into another level of work. The first level of work was tilling the garden, nurturing the soil, planting the seeds, watering the seeds, and allowing them to grow. Well, now everything, has flourished, right? We've got fruit to pick. Well, okay, yay, the harvest is in. We're going to live to see another season. We're going to live through another winter. Yay. But now there's a different level of work that goes into the mix. We have to pick the fruit. We have to harvest the fruit. We have to have a number of, barrels to put in. We have to know, he can't handle not being the center of attention. That's just the way it is. It's more work. I need more people to help me in the fields to pick these things. I'm going to need to can some things. I'm going to need to sell some things. I'm going to need to preserve some things. I'm going to need to, so it brings us into a different level of work. And I feel like stop dramatizing how traumatic everything is and just get down to the work. So much time is wasted wishing for a thing to be other than what it is. And so this is, to piggyback off of what you were saying, this is the action. This is the time to move forward. 7 is the number of divinity. It's the number that gives us the opportunity to dot the I's and cross the T's. It's the opportunity to double check what your work is before you put it into mass production. And this makes a lot of sense and is a good companion to the 1 year. If we are, planning new things and building new things and, allowing our minds to be very innovative, in regards to what is coming up and coming through, the 7 says, okay, do your homework and let's measure twice and cut once. Let's make sure that we've got all the details, in the way that we need those details to be, not from a place of perfectionism, but from a place of, is this going to be practical? Is this going to align me with where I'm going and to feel my purpose and to feel my joy in those ways. So I love that. OMG. So I'm going to just tell y'all peeps, Dwayne and I usually connect for an hour. This has been extra long, but Dwayne, I just have loved this. I thought this was so fun. For those of you who are watching us right now, please put some comments in there. Let us know if you liked this format, because you just got to see Dwayne in all his glory. I mean, he put me to shame with all of his nuggets of wisdom that were coming through. And thank you so much for that, Dwayne, for just being willing to, try something new, throw caution to the wind and, just something a little more fun. I'm looking forward to 2026. How about you?
Yeah, me too. 2026 is going to be great.
Love it. So where can people find you?
Just put my name into anything and you'll find me all over doing comedy, fragrances, acting, singing. I'm all over the place. I am what I was talking about. I just do everything I want. It doesn't matter if it's great or if it's amazing or if it's perfect or whatever. I just do it and I have a great time. Love it.
I love it. And I, of course, am Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. You can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky, not Black Sky, Blue Sky. Oh my goodness. Always releasing fun, interesting things. Right now I'm doing my year-end preview and year-end transformation sessions for 2026. These are limited time only. I'm only doing them until January 31st. If you want to get a sneak peek into what is coming up for you specifically in 2026, you'll want to book the Your Year in Preview session. And if you want to go a little bit deeper and understand what your soul purpose is for 2026, what your soul wants to do, and how you're going to transform and how you're going to move through the transformations that we're going through collectively, then you want to book the Your Year in Transformation. Would love to be able to connect with you guys in that way or any other way that's possible. Like, subscribe, click, share, join, all the things in this stuff. It really helps our channel to grow. On behalf of Dwayne and I, we are so excited to be doing this wild ride called Life with you guys in 2026. Safe and happy holidays if it applies. And we will see you on the flip side. Transform
Happy New
well.
Year.